what's the thing where it's a marshmallow and then it's, yeah, I look like that. Wow. Ooh. That's a good fucking coffee. Hey, hello, hi, I'm miacaven and welcome back to my channel. Today, we have a video I've actually been planning for a very long time. Today we're doing book reviews and I'm so excited for this because I love watching book reviews and writing this was really fun. So we're going to do all the books I have read since January, which is quite a few. I plan to do one a month at least because last year I sucked at reading. I just got I read 2 books. I read 3 books and one was a really simple poetry book, so I don't even know if that counts. I've read 10 so far. I'm currently reading The Stranger Things, Darkness on the Edge of Town, which is the second novel, which is Hopper's backstory. I already read the first backstory novel, which is about Dr. Brenner, I forgot his name. You know who I'm talking about. Anyways, we're gonna go into it. So the first book I read this year was Bob Dylan Chronicles. Last year we found out that, I've mentioned this in every fucking video I've done, but we found out that Timothy Chalamet is going to be playing Bob Dylan in the movie about him that is coming out, I think this year, I don't know, I think it's called Get Electric, Go Electric, something like that. I grew up on Bob Dylan, so this book we already had, my mum had this. Here's the thing, I love Bob Dylan, I love his music so much. The other day I watched Rolling Thunder review, and it's a documentary on Bob Dylan done by Martin Scorsese, and that was based on his tour in 1975. I did a review on it on my website, which I will link below, but it was so interesting and I love him so much. But this book, which is written by Bob Dylan himself, is just so blunt and nothing happens. And it's you have such an interesting life. You would think so much more would happen, but I think this is how he views himself and how he views his life. It's so direct, and you can tell just from how he writes that he's quiet, and it's interesting to read his point of view of things. But I will say, if you are someone that needs something to be consistently dramatic or interesting, this probably isn't it, because all it is a date, this is what happened, a date, this is what happened, a date, and that's it. But it is interesting, and I did enjoy it because I love Bob Dylan. It's one of those things where you kind of have to be a fan of the person to really enjoy it, which we have a few of here. So this was the first one I read. This took me a long time to read. Usually I can read a book really quickly. I'll go through which ones that I was with here, but this I'd give a 3 out of 5, I'd say. I love Bob, but this book was just hard to read. What was next? I think it was Film for Her. Film for Her by Orion Carlotto. If you know me, if you know anything about me, you know that I love Orion with literally all my heart. I would die. I want to be her. I want to be with her. Yeah. Okay. I read Flux last year, which is her first poetry book, but when we got the announcement for Film for Her, I was fucking over the moon because this one involved film pictures, which is my favorite type, and I just knew from the look of it that this was really going to be Orion's. This is more Orion's book than Flux, because I think Flux was her introduction into poetry, and then this is who Orion is. I want to create a book like this so bad, but this is just a 5 out of 5. I was just obsessed with the entire thing. I read it in a day, I think, but it's just a gorgeous, and that looks like random photos, but they're not. That's all hers. She took all of these, I believe, and she kept notes from her friends when they met up, and they wrote them for her. And then there's some of her as a kid. It's just really personal, and And like as a human being, as a self-centered human being, this is something I want to do regardless of if I'm famous or not. Like I'm pretty sure I would have done something like this when I was 14. Not done well, but you know what I mean. 5 out of 5, I love Orion so much, that's such a good book. So I read, okay, hear me out. I'm fucking stupid. I went to buy this book, Esquared by Pam Grout, and I bought the tiniest version you could possibly buy. This came to me at a time in my life where everything was falling apart, aka February. Here's the thing, it is the basics of quantum physics and law of attraction, and as a spiritualist and someone deeply interested in manifestation and would probably be able to teach manifestation, this isn't anything I didn't know. However, if I got the big book, the normal size book, I probably would have been able to find some interesting information I hadn't already known. Is it worth the read? Yes, very interesting in terms of the science behind things. Again, it's one of those things you have to be interested in to actually find it like interesting. Whereas like film for her, I think anyone could pick that up and love it. But what I liked about this was that it gave you actual tasks to try out, like 9 scientific experiments to do with the laws of the universe, and each one worked. So it's definitely worth it if you have a hard time manifesting, or if you're a beginner or something along those lines. But because it's tiny and I knew everything, I'm gonna give it like a 3.5 out of 5. Untamed by Glennon Doyle. My mother likes to push me to read the books she reads. She likes my opinion on things, and she forced this down my throat. And I was like, oh my god, fine, okay, I'll do it. I read this in a day. This fat ass book I read in a day. I love this book. This book, I had the roughest weekend. I wasn't talking to anyone. And this book made me feel so good and comfort, which isn't something that I would get from Bob Dylan Chronicles or Esquared. This book is about Glennon Doyle, the author, and again, kind of like manifestation and law of attraction, but also about feminism and you know, just like the important things in life. It's about motherhood. It's like about every single thing you could possibly think of, really. I fell in love with this book immediately. I think it's the first chapter. No, the third chapter is literally called Blowjobs, and it's like a page long, but it's so funny. Just all of it is like about her experiences of her husband cheating or something, I think, or her actually being a lesbian and and having kids and you know, having a job and meeting the love of her life, and it opened my eyes to so much. And like, it's things that you know, but it's things that you don't necessarily have enough belief in until you read. So whilst going through like the roughest weekend, I read this and I was just like, okay, shit can get better, you know. It's one of those, it really does change your mindset. So obviously I'm gonna give this book a 5 out of 5. I think everyone should read it, even though there is obviously like quite large sectors on feminism and motherhood. It's not something you necessarily have to relate to. I think it's just like, if I could sum up this book, it would be life lessons. It's just life lessons. She speaks about like how she feels she manifested things and how the law of attraction like kind of worked in her way and things like that. And she even talks about religion and stuff, but I think the main thing is like life lessons. You know, I think she's like in her 40s, I want to say. I think she's in her 40s, but you know, she is obviously, she's much older than me, and I think reading this at a young age is very beneficial, because it's like right now it's shit and you're gonna have the shittiest moments ever, and then You're gonna have the best moments ever. But it makes you believe that good things are possible, and I think that's important in a book. And so it's not fiction, it's non-fiction, but it's very good, and I highly recommend everybody reads that. Then I read this beautiful book. So again, if you know anything about me, you'll know I am the biggest Wes Anderson fan. I love Wes Anderson. He's a movie director. He did the Grand Budapest Hotel, he did Moonrise Kingdom. If you were on Tumblr at any point in time, you have definitely seen GIFs or some sort from a Wes Anderson film. One of my personal favorites is The Royal Tenenbaums, and I cannot wait for The French Dispatch because it has Timothée Chalamet in it. So it's my favorite director and actor in one, and I'm going to die that day. I'm going to die when that comes out. But anyways, for Christmas, I got 2 Wes Anderson books, and this is one of them. It's called a coffee table book because you can do that, and you just put it on a coffee table. But I don't have a coffee table, so it's just a book for me. There you go. So pretty. First of all, like, Wes Anderson books have no choice but to be beautiful because of his films. The color palettes he uses, that's all he's known for, so it's gorgeous. This book I loved. It's about Wes Anderson, but his filmography. So from his very first film to his very recent film, which hasn't even come out, The French Dispatch. There are pages about Timothée Chalamet in this book. I swear to God, I was just so blessed. I was so happy. I love this book because it goes into depth about how each film was made. It gives you behind the scenes pictures that have never been seen before. There are like pages you can open it up. I like interactive books. I'm literally such a child, but like, I love this book with all of me. I would give it like a 5 out of 5. Again, it's one of those, you have to like the person to really enjoy it. So if you're a Wes Anderson film, I highly recommend this. It's called The Wes Anderson, the Iconic Filmmaker and His Work. I literally had to do my end of year essay for my screen studies. I wrote it on Wes Anderson and I included the book. So next, here's the other Wes Anderson book that I have. Accidentally Wes Anderson. This one's different. This is not actually about Wes Anderson. It's a little bit misleading. So someone very close to me that I love with all of my heart got me a signed copy by Wally Koval, who is the author of this book. Thank you, love you. This book is about places all over the world that look like they could be in a Wes Anderson film. So I'll go to a random page to explain because I feel like that's just way too confusing. Norway. Yeah. It's just literally every single page is a new location in the world that looks like it could be in a Wes Anderson film. I love it. I personally enjoyed this. It's not something interesting to read necessarily, but it's not too much to read anyways. But it's gorgeous to look at, and if you are a travel fanatic and a Wes Anderson fanatic and a photography fanatic, this book is for you. I would give this like a 4 out of 5. I think it's really interesting. I've never seen anyone do this like this before, and I love Wes, so I'm being biased as usual. Then I read Heavier Than Heaven by Charles R. Cross, which is a book on Kurt Cobain's life. I love this book with all my heart. My favorite biography / autobiography that I've ever read, because I've read loads recently, I mean like in the past year, has to be Patti Smith's Just Kids. That book changed me. Genuinely, I feel like I don't recognize the person I was prior. That book has the biggest place in my heart. However, as you saw, I read the Bob Dylan one, but this one, I think this one comes second place at the moment. I love this book with all of me. For something that isn't from Kurt Cobain himself, it is in scary depth. And I almost wonder how accurate the information is, because where the fuck did you get it from? However, it's about his life from literal childhood to the end, which is not like the books I've read, even just Kids, which was just on like a few years of Patty's life. She has more memoirs that I'm gonna buy. She has M Train, The Year of the Monkey, and Devotion, and I want to read them all. But Just Kids is her main one, the one she's like most famous for. And my mum had it already anyways. But yeah, this book, very emotional, hard to read. I read it at a time where I felt very low, and I guess it wasn't the best idea, considering the majority of this book is about how low he felt and suicidal, and you even get to read like parts of his suicide note and everything, and it's a hard read, but I don't know if there's ever a right or wrong time. So I think if you are a fan of Kurt Cobain, like I am, read it. Just read it. It's so interesting, and you feel so sorry for him as a child and as an adult, and you know, it doesn't portray him as this person you're supposed to feel sorry for. He's almost at the end portrayed like a dick. Like, you go back and forth on how you feel about him, but by the end of it, I was just like, wow, I love him like way more than I did before. So worth the read. Please read it. I would give it 4.5 out of 5. I'm being really stingy, just because there were bits that dragged and I was just like, this is not interesting at all. But there were very interesting bits, very much worth the read. Definitely recommend that. The other book that I read after that one, I don't have on me. My mum has it because she's reading it now. But it was called, if I can remember, it's by Jordana Levin, and it's called Make It Happen. Yeah, I've got some news for you. Make It Happen was a decent, boring book before it fucked me off. Okay, here's the thing. It's a very basic book. It's about manifestation and the law of attraction, and I think now too many people have done that. I think we get the basics, and you don't even need a book to like do it right. You just need to simply look up the steps on Google at this point. I mean, I literally find a simple guide on my Pinterest every day. So like, I just think people need to stop chugging out these books and praying that people are gonna feed into it. That's just my opinion. But this book in particular, I disliked on another level. It was very basic. Every single chapter is the same, literally, and I'm not exaggerating. It's like, new career, do this. New this, do this. And it's like, you could have told me once and I would have understood. Get it? It's definitely a beginner's book, so I'm probably overreacting on that side. However, then we get into the bit that really annoyed me. Misinformation on such a large scale. So she touches on her personal relationships. I have nothing against that. Half of these books are about people's personal lives. That's cool. I fuck with that. If I wrote a book, I write fictional books, and the main characters are low-key based on me. I do it all the time. It's fine. That's not my issue. The first thing she says is, sometimes I feel like I was never in love. Okay, interesting way to start a chapter based on love. Cool. Then she goes, but then I met my twin flame, and we had this need for each other, but it was toxic, and you should never end up with your twin flame. The misinformation made me pull a pillow over my head and scream. Twin flames aren't toxic. I will literally do a whole fucking video on what a twin flame is. I made a thread. I will pin it down below. Jesus Christ, on Twitter, okay? Twin flames aren't toxic. Yes, there is this idea of needing this person because the connection is so raw and real and rare. But she literally, in depth, described this connection with this person. Bear in mind, prior, just saying, I feel like I've never been in love. When you meet your twin flame, you will never be able to say those words, I have never been in love. It's impossible, because that person is the embodiment of unconditional love. That's what a twin flame is. Regardless of separation, which is a pattern that happens in twin flame connections, yes, 100%. There is no intentional hurting, like that person will never intentionally inflict pain onto you. Everything is unintentional. Bonjour, how are you? I kid you not, she literally says, do not end up with your twin flame. Not those exact words, but like she literally says that. She literally implies that. She says it herself. And then in the next page says, you'll meet a soulmate, end up with them instead, they're so much better. What I don't fuck with, personally, is biasness, like holy fuck. And like, this is like, if you're watching this as soon as it comes out, I took a hiatus. I don't know if I'm back yet when this comes out, because I'm filming this like 2 weeks prior, but at the moment, as I video this, I'm on a hiatus, because Twitter is so, in the spiritual community, bias, it's full of projection. Every twin flame has something different to say. I hate my twin, fuck my twin, I love my twin, you have to end up with your twin. It's just so bad on like all extremes, and I don't fuck with it, so I had to delete it because I was just going insane. I'm a twin flame. Twin flames are rare, dude. I don't know why I am, but it's pain. But, okay, like, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. But when I was with my twin flame, in terms of like, okay, like, we're talking again, but like, at the beginning, which was like 10 months long, of like non-stop being around each other, I have never felt so loved and happy in my life. Ever. So I don't recommend it to anyone, because the pain is an extreme pain, and it's hard, and it's just, it can drag, and you get stuck, and there are so many negatives to it, but at the end of the day, that person loves you so much and would do anything for you. And I feel like if you don't feel that way with your twin, it's not your twin. Because no matter what this man has done, I love him. And it's not like an enabling him. If I enabled him, I would have stayed when I didn't. And God knows what's happening now, but like in the future, I won't stick around for what I did before. It's all about lessons and healing and self-growth, and that's what a real twin flame is. It's someone who gives you unconditional love, but brings out the worst and the best in you. Not the worst as in you become the worst, but wounds you haven't healed resurface for you to heal them, and that's just painful. But you are the best version of yourself when you're with them. They don't bring out a bad side in you. And again, I will do a whole video on this. This is just a short explanation of it, but it was so misleading on what a twin flame is. And that's a fucking real book, dude. Like, imagine how many people pick that up, and I hate to think that they now go, twin flames are toxic, twin flames are this, and it's just not true. Okay, I got cut off, but this. Thank you for caring, Billie Eilish. I love Billie so much, and I will try not to get into a rant about how much I love her, but she is just the realest fucking famous person out there at her level. Like, there are loads of indie artists who are so real and awesome and cool, and I love them. But I mean, like, A-list celebrity, she is the realist in my opinion. And I have a theory, and I think I've only told one person this, but like growing up, all girls want to be like, most girls, I'm generalizing. Most girls want to be famous, and I know growing up personally that I grew up around thousands of girls online who wanted to be in the public eye, or singers and aesthetic and cool and like the biggest thing, and not even in a pop way, but like just like they just, you know, that was like the fan fiction dream life. I think we collectively manifested Billie Eilish existing. I'm not even joking. I genuinely think we collectively manifested it happening to her. Like, I don't know why her, but she is everything like everyone wanted to be as a preteen, basically. But anyways, I love Billie. I think she's so cool. I think she has done so much for the music industry, and being my age sucks ass so bad. But I love her, and I think she's incredible, and I love Phineas, and I love Claudia. I have a bad obsession with this entire family, like it's so bad. So because of my love for this woman, this book, I give a 5 out of 5. Who doesn't want to see the cutest baby pictures of her? Who doesn't? Because I do. I paid, what was it, 15 quid to fucking see baby photos of her. She's adorable. She's so cute. And when I'm famous one day, and I don't say that out of vanity, I say that because I had a birth chart reading and was told I'm going to be famous one day, I will be making this myself. So you're all welcome, Prior. Thanks, Billie, for the inspiration. But yeah, this is a 5 out of 5. I love it. It's so good. So cute, simple. And if you're not a big like reader, this is perfect for you, because she literally, do you want to know the longest sentence here? Where is it? I don't know if I'll find it. She didn't write this at all in a professional way. Australia, same shit. I told you earlier, lol, do you see what's around my neck? It's a snake. It's literally like reading her notes out. Like that's literally what, I just love that she literally writes lol in a book. And it just, she's so informal, and I love it. I love it so much. I love it. I could go on and on and on. Those are the books I have read this year, and my reviews on them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will do this again in like 4 months. I will do another one of these because I have a few books to read. I have to finish my Stranger Things one. I have a Jim Morrison biography to read. And I have literally £300 worth of books in my Waterstones cart. So that's that. I'm definitely going to get all of them by the end of the year. I don't care what anyone says. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know I look like a wet rat. I'll say it again. But I love you guys, and I hope you buy the books that I liked. If you like them, you don't have to. I don't really care. But thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. Have an amazing weekend, and I will see you in my next video.